Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Our Divya Prabandha Satsang was initially started by Sri Narasimhan in early 1990s. He had the vision that those who are coming to this island shall spend their free time fruitfully by reciting Bhagavan Namas and offered us the great opportunity. Later, Sri Alagappan had cherished this satsang over these years and established the path and led the way. At this hour, we profusely thank them for their excellent guidance and shown the right path to us. Sri Ramanuja Vaibhavam. Guru Paramparai. The word Guru means the one who dispels the darkness of ignorance and sheds light on the path of good conduct. The Vedas declare that a person initiated by an Acharya understands the truth as it is, and therefore the Acharya should be respected like God himself. The very first Acharya, not tradition or Sampradayam, is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana himself. In the beginning, Narayana, in his form as Hayagriva, taught the Vedas to his son, the four-faced Brahma, and the teachings thus came down in what is known as Guru Sishya Parampara or preceptor disciple lineage. A preview about Sri Ramanuja. His parents are Asuri Kesavacharya and Gandhimati. His acharyas are Periyanambi, Thirukoshtiyur Nambi, Tirumalayandan, Tiruvaranga Perumalarayar, Tirumalai Nambi. Tirukachi Nambi was his Manasika Guru and a guide. Ramanuja made 9 compositions. They are Vedanta Sangraham, Sri Bhashyam, Gita Bhashyam, Vedanta Deepa, Vedanta Saram, Saranagati Gatyam, Sriranga Gatyam, Vaikunta Gatyam, and Nitya Grantham. Periya Thirumalai Nambi, one among the foremost disciples of Alavandar, had 3 sisters. Elder one is Gandhimati, followed by Deeptimati and Sridevi. Gandhimati married Asuri Kesavacharya and Deeptimati married Kamala Nayana Bhattar. Sri Ramanuja was born to Asuri Kesavacharya and Gandhimati in 1017 AD, Pingala year, Chittirai month, Tiruvadirai star, Thursday, and Panchami Tithi. It is believed that Perumal himself took avatara as Ramanuja due to Kesavacharya's prayers in Tiruvallikeni temple. Govindan and Siriya Govinda Perumal were born to Kamalanayana Bhattar and Deeptimati. Govindan, along with Ramanuja, went to Yadava Prakasar's Gurukulam. Upanayanam and marriage. Sri Ramanuja's parents did his Upanayanam during his age of 7. They fixed his marriage with Tanjambal, alias Rakshambal. To the sake of the happiness of his parents, Ramanujar married her. Rather than his marriage life, Ramanujar was more into bhakti. Right from his childhood, Ramanujar was very brilliant. Upon seeing scholars, despite of their varnas, he would have a discussion with them. Likewise, one day he met Tirukachi Nambi and had a conversation. Tirukachi Nambi was a great Sri Vaishnavite. He did Alavattam Kainkaryam to Kanchi Varadaraja Perumal. It was believed that he was capable of talking to God. He was also known as Kanchi Purnar in the surrounding. He guided Sri Ramanuja through right path in Sri Vaishnavism. After his father's death, Ramanujar moved to Kanchipuram to join the Gurukulam of Yadava Prakasa. Ramanuja was very bright and many a times had a difference of opinion with the teachings of Yadava Prakasa as he started giving different interpretations to Shrutis. This added more fire to Yadava Prakasha's fury. He warned Ramanujar that if he would differ with him again, he would send him out of his Gurukulam. Sri Ramanujar didn't want to be sitting idle at home. So he didn't speak a word against Yadav Prakasha since then. Yadav Prakasha's rage didn't stop with that. He planned to assassinate Ramanuja and planned a trip to Kasi and indulged his students to cooperate with him. Govindan, Ramanuja's cousin, who was hidden unnoticed by Yadava Prakasha, listens to this conversation. On their way to Kasi, in a forest, he reveals the assassin plan of Yadava Prakasha to Ramanujar and asks him to escape. Ramanujar escapes into the forest. While Yadava Prakasha was looking for Ramanujar, Govindan acts like Ramanujar is really missing and lost his way in forest. Yadava Prakasar was happy that he got rid of Ramanujar and proceeded to Kasi. Ramanujar was trying to find the way out of forest but lost himself in the dense forest. He was guided to reach Kanchi by Kanchi Perurlala Perumal, disguised as Hunter Couple. After a few days, Yadava Prakasar and his students were on their way back to Kanchipuram. Govindan found a lingam from Ganga and Yadava Prakasar named him as Ullangai Konarda Nayanar. In Kalahasti, Govindan said Yadava Prakasar that he would like to establish the lingam there and do service to it by staying there. Yadava Prakasar accepted and came back to Kanchipuram, leaving Govindan in Kalahasti. Ramanujar didn't want to continue anymore and came out of Yadava Prakasar's Gurukulam. While he met Tirkachi Nambi, he said he didn't want to continue in a place where study doesn't bring any bhakti towards the Lord. Then he asks Tirkachi Nambi to be his guru. Tirkachi Nambi refuses and advises him to do Tirtha Kainkaryam to Perarulalan and he will find a guru in right time. Swami Alavandar, also popularly known as Yamunacharya, is amongst the most important acharyas of the Vaishnava tradition. He was the foremost to identify that Swami Ramanuja was the future of Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam and ordered all his disciples to give due respect to Swami Ramanuja. Alavandar pronounced Swami Ramanuja as his successor. He ordered that all his disciples should give due respect to him and the act of surrendering to him was the only way for salvation. Alavandar was worried about appointing the successor to lead the Sampradayam and he finds out about Ilayalvar, who is studying under Yadav Prakasha in Kanchipuram. He visits Kanchipuram and in the Deva Perumal Koil, in front of Karyamanikka Perumal Sannidhi, he gives his divine kadaksham towards Ilayalvar, who passes by at that time. Alavandar goes to Deva Perumal and does a Saranagati to Emperuman to make Ilayalvar the next leader of the Sampradayam. Thus Alavandar plants the seed to what is going to be a Mahavriksham, that is Emperumana Darisanam. Alavandar asks Tirkachi Nambi to help Ilayalvar in his spiritual development. When he came to know Yadav Prakasar sent out Ramanujar from his Gurukulam, Swami Alavandar sends Periyanambi to Kanchipuram to bring Ramanujar with him to Srirangam. Periyanambi met Ramanujar, who wishes to see Alavandar, and Ramanujar requests Periyanambi to take him to Srirangam. Periyanambi immediately accepted and took him to Srirangam. Meanwhile, in Srirangam, Alavandar requests his disciples and other Sri Vaishnavas to assemble in front of him. He asks for their pardon for any mistakes he committed. accepts Sripada Tirtham from them, does Dadyaradanam to them, and leaves his Charama Tirumeni to Paramapadam. All his disciples were plunged into sorrow, and finally they start planning for the grand celebration. When Sri Vaishnavas leave their body to go to Paramapadam, it is actually celebrated in a grand manner, considering the great benediction they get when they go to Paramapadam, with all the Charama Kankaryams like Tirumanjanam, Sri Churna Paripalanam, Alankaram, Brahmaratham, etc. While reaching Srirangam, Periyanambi and Ramanujar see the procession of Alavandar's Tirumeni and Periyanambi falls down crying. Ilayalvar, also being very upset, inquires from the local Sri Vaishnavas and understands what has happened. When the final Kainkaryams for Alavandar starts, everyone observes that three fingers are folded in one of his hands. When Ilayalvar asks if anyone knew the reason, one of the Sishyas mentions that Alavandar had three unfulfilled desires, namely, we should show our gratitude towards Vyasa and Parasara Rishi, we should show our love towards Nammalvar, we should have a Bhashyam written for Vyasa's Brahma Sutram as per Vishishtadvaita Siddhantam. Hearing this, Ilayalvar immediately takes an oath that he will satisfy all the three desires, and immediately Alavandar's fingers get unfolded. The assembled Sri Vaishnavas become ecstatic looking at this, and they say that Alavandar's Kripai and Shakti is fully showering on him and hail him to become our Darsana Nirvahar. Once all the Kainkaryams are over, Ilayalvar returns to Kanchipuram without even worshipping Namperumal, since he was overwhelmed by the loss of Alavandar. After his return from Srirangam, Ramanujar continued his Tirtha Kainkaryam to Perarulalan. He planned to force Thirukoshtiyur to accept him as his disciple. One day he asked Tanjambal to prepare prasadam and he invited Thirukoshtiyur for lunch. He thought after Thirukoshtiyur consumes, he will eat the remaining prasadam so that Thirukoshtiyur will for sure accept him as disciple. But Thirukoshtiyur came to know this plan through Perarulalan and plans to escape from this. He goes to Ramanujar's home while he was not around, eats prasadam and throws away the banana leaf in which he ate by himself. Ramanujar comes home and asks her why is she preparing prasadam so late that Thirukoshtiyur would come home any time. She replied that Thirukoshtiyur already came home and finished his prasadam. Ramanujar, a little shocked, asks her about the remaining. She said she threw it away. Ramanujar was very upset with her as she spoiled his plans and reveals what he had in mind about Thirukoshtiyur. Days passed on, but Ramanujar still didn't get a guru and was very worried about it. One day, he went to Thirukoshtiyur and asked him to check with Perarulalan the answers for the questions which he had in mind. To his surprise, even before he asked the questions, Thirukoshtiyur said him that Perarulalan already have given answers to his questions in 6 words, which is popularly known as Arvarthegal. The 6 words are: Supreme Deity Sriman Narayanan is the only Paramatma, Jivatma is different from Paramatma, Prapatti is the only means to attain salvation, last remembrance of the Lord while the soul is leaving is not necessary, Moksham shall be granted after death, Periyanambi shall be your Guru. Ramanujar was very happy that Periyanambi shall be his Guru. He thanked Thirukoshtiyur and started to Srirangam immediately. In Srirangam, Thiruvaranga Perumal came to a conclusion that Ramanujar, who was identified by Sri Alavandar, should be in charge and manage Srimalam. So he asked Periyanambi to go again to Kanjipuram and let Ramanujar know the wish of Alavandar. Maybe he shall not come to Srirangam immediately, leaving Kanchipuram, Perarulalan, and Tirukachinambi. So he told Periyanambi not to force Ramanujar and let him take his time to make his mind. Periyanambi started immediately to Kanchipuram along with his wife. Ramanujar and Periyanambi met in Madurantakam, Yerikatha Ramar Sannidhi. Both explained each other about the purpose of their visit. Periyanambi said Ramanujar, they all shall leave to Kanchipuram. But Ramanujar said him, next moment is insecure. So he wanted to get Panchasamskaram done on spot in Madurantakam in Ramar Sannadhi. Periyanambi thought it's Lord Narayanan's wish and proceeded doing Panchasamskaram and taught Vayamandram to Ramanujan. Panchasamskaram is a commitment from the disciple that he or she will live as per the wishes of the Acharya. Thus, the person gets the link to Sri Vaishnava Parampara. During Samashrayanam, Panchasamskaram is performed and the person becomes a Sri Vaishnava. The five samskarams and its main purposes are tapam, to emboss the impressions of heated shankha and chakra on the arms near the shoulders, pundram, to wear the Dwadasha Urdhva pundram, which is 12 Thiruman and Sri Churnam, namam, to be named by the Acharya afresh as Ramanujadasan to indicate that one is forever a servant of the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana and Bhagavat Ramanuja. Mantram, to get the initiation of Rahasya Traya Mantras, Ashtaksharam, Dvayam and Charamaslokam. Ijjai, to learn the worship of Sriman Narayana in proper form. Samashrayanam marks a great turning point in the journey of Jivatma through the cycle of repeated birth and death. The Panchasamskaram performed is invaluable, but one has to keep the samskaram by his regular devotional activities. The samskarams done loses its significance when one starts indulging more in materialistic activities without caring about Sriman Narayana. The whole purpose is to make a person get involved in the Sanatana Dharma. Surrender and love towards Sriman Narayana is the only purpose of human life. Samashrayanam helps in a great way to make a person progress towards achieving this goal. From Madurantakam, Periyanambi, his wife and Ramanujar went to Kanchipuram. Periyanambi accepted Ramanujar's request and stayed in his house. Sri Ramanujar was happily learning Prabandhams from Periyanambi, but his happiness didn't last long. One day, Periyanambi's wife and Tanjambal were near by the well, and Periyanambi's wife was pulling the bucket out of the well. Without her noticing, a few drops tumbled from the rope and fell into the pot of Tanjambal. Tanjambal, who was from a very orthodox background, couldn't bear it and used a hard language to his husband's Guru Patni. Periyanambi's wife was very shocked and was crying while Periyanambi returned home. She explained the story later to him and expressed her thought to leave from Kanchipuram to Srirangam. They both left with all their belongings before Ramanujar came home. Ramanujar came home and was shocked that he could not find Periyanambi, his wife, or their belongings. He enquired Tanjambal and she narrated the incident as if Periyanambi's wife did a blunder. Ramanujar couldn't digest what she told. He immediately left to Perarulalan temple to meet Thirukochinambi. In a short while, he saw an old man who seemed to be very hungry and tired coming that way. Ramanujar immediately went to him and asked him to go to his house and have some food. The old man replied that he already went to Ramanujar's house and Tanjambal said that there is no food. Ramanujar immediately went home and Tanjambal was busy in the backyard. He went to kitchen and noticed that there is enough food to give to the old man. He immediately came back to the temple with a great frustrate. He wrote a letter as if it's from Tanjambal's father and gave it to the old man and asked him to go again and tell Tanjambal that he brought a letter from her father. Old man did so and he got a warm welcome. Tanjambal was very joyful to hear that he brought a letter from her father. Meanwhile, Ramanujar came home and inquired who the old man is as if he doesn't know him. Old man gives the letter to Ramanujar. He reads it loud as if it's written from Tanjambal's father requesting Ramanujar to send Tanjambal to her native so she could support in her younger sister's marriage. Also, he requests Ramanujar to come along with her. Tanjambal was happy to hear that marriage has been fixed for her sister. She was happy that she is going to visit her parents. Ramanuja told her that he couldn't come along as he has got Perumal Kaingaryam and asked her to leave along with the old man to her parents' house. After she left, Ramanuja went to Varadaraja Perumal and was asking the Lord to accept him as his devotee forever as he is not interested in sansaric life anymore. Lord Varadaraja Perumal, in reply, said him to wear kashayam and stay in the Kirandai Madam. Ramanujan immediately went to the temple tank, took a bath, and wore kashayam and took Tridandam. On seeing his appearance, Tirukachinambi conferred him as Yatirajar, king of Yatis. Sri Periyanambi was one of the prominent disciples of Alavanda. At a very young age, he mastered several branches of learning. Under the guidance of Alavandar, Periyanambi mastered the texts of Vedanta and Divya Prabandham, as a result of which he came to be known as Mahapurna. Once, when Ranganathar was taking a procession, the temple car came to a complete halt at the entrance of Periyanambi's house and refused to move. Only after Periyanambi was given the Tirtham and the Aradhana, the car allowed itself to proceed. It took Sri Ranganathar to demonstrate the greatness of Periyanambi. Once he was away from Srirangam and fallen ill. Puratalvan and Atturai were carrying him back to Srirangam. They told him that Srirangam is only a few miles away and they request Periyanambi to hold on to his breath until they reach Srirangam so that he can leave his body in Srirangam Divyadesam. On the way to Srirangam, he gives up and attains Paramapadam. He does this to provide that wherever a Sri Vaishnava is, that place becomes Vaikuntham and he need not be in a Divyadesam. Thiruvaranga Perumalarayar was the elder son of Alavandar. He was taking care of the Sri Madam after Alavandar's decease. He felt that Ramanujar would be the right person to administrate the Madam in place of Alavandar and wanted to bring him to Srirangam from Kanchi. One day, Thiruvaranga Perumalarayar came to Kanchi and performed Araya Sevai for the Pasarams of Swami Nammalvar before Lord Varadarajan. The Lord of Kanchi was so pleased with Arayar that he asked Arayar to choose a boon close to his heart. Arayar blurted out and asked for the gift of Ramanuja. The Lord agreed and gave his permission for Ramanuja to go to Srirangam with Arayar and start his work as an Acharyan and to continue the work of Alavandar. Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar taught Prabandhams except Thiruvalmuri to Ramanuja. He conferred the title Udayavar to Sri Ramanujan. Periyanambi asked Ramanuja to learn the sacred mantra from Thirukoshtiyur Nambi. Ramanujar comes to Thirukoshtiyur to meet Nambi and learn the Tirumantram. On reaching here, he says, I have come to learn Rahasyarthangal from you. But Thirukoshtiyur Nambi turns him back 17 times. On the 18th occasion, Ramanuja starts with Adiyen Dasan. This time, Nambi welcomes him saying, your arrogance is gone, and accepts to teach Tirumantram, but on one condition. As per the condition, Ramanuja should not tell this to anyone, as this mantra will take a person who listens to it directly to Vaikuntham. And if it is told out to others, Ramanuja will go to hell. Ramanuja wanted to teach this mantram to all, and he climbed on top of Thirukoshtiyur temple and called whosoever is interested to learn the divine mantra. He then said the meaning of the Tirumantram to all those who were interested, regardless of caste and creed. When Thirukoshtiyur Nambi came to know this, he became angry and rushed to Ramanujar to enquire as to why he told it to everyone. Ramanuja replied that by telling this divine mantra, only he will go to hell, but the entire humanity will reach Vaikuntham. This is why we call him Karai Karunai Ramanuja. Impressed with Ramanuja's reply, Nambi tells him, "Nee Emperumal Anar." Hence, Ramanuja is called Emperumanar. Also, he said our Darsanam would be known as Emperumanar Darsanam from then. Tirumalayandan is one of the prime Sishyas of Alavandar. Alavandar gives Tirumalayandan the responsibility of teaching the meanings of Tirvaimozhi to Emperumanar. After Alavandar ascending to Paramapadam and Emperumanar arriving at Srirangam, Thirukoshtiyur Nambi guides Emperumanar to Tirumalayandan to listen to the esoteric meanings of Nammalvar's Tirvaimozhi. While giving lectures, Tirumalayandan explains the meanings of Tirvaimozhi as he heard from Alavandar. But at times, Emperumanar presents his viewpoint differently to some of the Pasurams. One such time, while explaining Tirvaimozhi, Emperumanar gives a different explanation for Ariya Kalattulle Pasuram. Tirumalayandan thinks that Emperumanar is creating meanings of his own and says he has never heard this from Alavandar. On hearing this, Thirukoshtiyur Nambi comes to Srirangam, listens to Andan's narration of the happening and says that just like Emperuman learned from Sandipani, Ramanujar is learning Tirvaimozhi from you. He will not say anything other than what is in Alavandar's heart. Also, he adds that he is not teaching something new to Ramanujar. He then brings Andan and Periyanambi to Emperumanar's mutt and requests Emperumanar to continue hearing from Andan. Subsequently, Emperumanar has also told Andan that he is like Ekalavyan for Alavandar. Andan, understanding the greatness, offers his respect to Emperumanar and feels great joy that he is able to hear what he missed from Alavandar. Alavandar gives Tirumalai Nambi the responsibility of teaching the meanings of Sri Ramayanam to Ramanujar. He was a Nitya Kainkarya Parar to Tiruvenkaramudaiyan and was engaged in bringing Tirtham from Akasa Gangai in Tirumalai. Emperumanar wanted to bring Govinda Perumal back into our Sampradayam from Shaivism. He sent a request to Tirumalai Nambi to go to Kalahasti and reform Govinda Perumal. Amongst Sri Ramanuja's disciples, Mudaliyandan and Kuratalwan are considered important. Mudaliyandan was in charge of Srirangam temple ceremonials. Also, it is said that he assisted Ramanujar while he wrote explanations of Rahasyarthangal. After instructing Rahasyarthangal to Ramanujar, Kuratalwan and Mudaliyandan, Thirukoshtiyur Nambi told Sri Ramanujar to come alone later to learn the Charamaslokam. Nambi later instructed Sri Ramanujar the Charamaslokam. When Sri Ramanujar was instructing Kuresan on the Charamaslokam, Andan too wanted to know the meaning of the sloka and hence approached Sri Ramanuja. Due to Thirukoshtiyur Nambi's instructions, Sri Ramanujar asked Andan to obtain the Upadesam from Nambi himself. Andan went and submitted himself to Nambi, who never gave him audience. This continued about 6 months and Andan never gave up. At this point, Nambi inquired Andan about the reason for his being there. When Andan requested to be taught the meaning of Charamasloka, He said, "Let the three egotisms that trouble the mankind, that of having knowledge, wealth, and ancestry, go from you. Ramanuja will be the best judge in these matters. Go to him and wait on him, on his will and pleasure. He will bless you." Andan returned to Srirangam, fell to Sri Ramanuja's feet, and narrated the incident. Pleased with Andan, Sri Ramanuja lauded the change in him and wishes with Charamaslokam to Andan. Once, on Ramanuja's instructions, Andan went to Perinambi's daughter Atturai to her in-laws as Atturai's Stridana Vellati. Just to comply with his Acharya's words, Andan served Atturai and her in-laws for several months until they realized who he was and regretted for it. This incident shows Andan's unabating devotion to his Acharya, which is the essence of our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam. Kuratarvan was known as Pavitram of Sri Ramanuja. Kuratarvan assisted Ramanuja while he wrote Sri Bhashyam. Kuratarvan has written Panchastvam, which are Sri Rangastvam, Sri Stvam, Atimanushyastvam, Varadarajastvam, and Sundarabahustvam. Once there was a Chola king who wanted all Vaishnavas to turn as Shaivists. Whoever refused were punished severely. One day, Kuratarvan came running to Ramanujar and said, "Soldiers of Chola king are coming to meet Ramanujar," and asked him to leave the madam immediately wearing white clothes. Otherwise, if they identify Ramanujar, they will do some harm to him. Ramanujar also left the madam wearing white clothes. Kuratarvan immediately wore the saffron clothes of Ramanujar and acted like him while the king's men came. They arrested Kuratarvan, presuming as Ramanujar, and summoned him in front of Chola king. When Kuratarvan refused to budge as ordered by the king, he ordered to stab his eyes with hot iron rods. However, Kuratarvan himself plucked his eyes with his nails and lost his sight. When Sri Ramanujar came to know about this, he said through a Sishya to ask for Kuratarvan to go to Kanchipuram and pray in front of Varadaraja Perumal to get his eyesight back. Kuratarvan did so but did not request the sight, but pleaded with Lord Varadaraja to pardon and give a special sight to view only Sri Ramanuja. Sri Ramanuja wrote Sri Bhashyam as the explanations of Brahma Sutras according to Vishishtadvaitam principles. He wrote Vedartha Sangraham as a commentary on Upanishads. He wrote Gita Bhashyam as a commentary on Bhagavad Gita based on Alavanda's Gitartha Sangraham. Vaikunta Gatyam explains the natures of Sri Vaikuntham. Sriranga Gatyam is a prayer to surrender in the feet of Lord Ranganadhar and Ranganayaki. He wrote Charanagati Gatyam as an imaginary dialogue between Ramanujar, Tayar, and Lord Narayanan explaining the nature, importance, and method to perform Prapatti. Vedanta Deepa was a commentary on Sri Bhashyam but in a light form. Vedanta Saram was essence of Sri Bhashyam for those who find Sri Bhashyam and Vedanta Deepa hard to understand. He wrote Nitya Grantham on the day-to-day activities to be performed by a Sri Vaishnava. Sri Ramanujar was leaving from Tirunarayanapuram back to Srirangam. All disciples of Tirunarayanapuram also wanted to accompany him. Sri Ramanujar said them that he will be always there in the midst of them and they should not leave along with him. Then he made a statue of himself and hugged the idol and transferred all his power to the idol. That idol is known as Tan Uganda Tirumeni. People of Sri Perumbadur, Avatara Sthalam of Sri Ramanujar, wanted to make an idol and install it in the temple. Then, on an auspicious day, they were installing the idol and doing prana pratishtha to the idol. In Srirangam, Ramanuja was giving discourse to his disciples. Then, suddenly he maintained stone-like silence. More or less, he was looking like statue. Then after some time, he became normal and his Sishyas asked what happened. Sri Ramanujan replied that just few minutes back in Sri Perumbudur, they have installed his idol and they did Prana Pratishtai and they were conducting eye-opening ceremony for the idol and he went there. The idol established by his Sishyas at Sri Perumbudur is known as Tamaruganda Tirumeni. During his last days, Ramanujan said to his Sishyas that he would like to leave this world. The disciples requested Acharya Sarvabhauma to live with them for some more days. Then Udayavar told he will live with them for 3 more days. Disciples were not satisfied. So Yatiraja told to get an idol made. Then after duly sanctifying the statue, he transferred all his power into that murti. Then, with his head on the lap of Embar and his feet on the lap of Vaduganambi, Ramanujan breathed his last breath in 1137 AD, listening to the recitation of the Divya Prabandham and looking at Sri Padukas of Yamunai Turaivan. It was Saturday, Mahamanth, Shukla Paksha, Dasami Tithi. This idol is known as Tanana Tirumeni. Thus, he lived 120 years, which is 2 full cycles of 60 Tamil years. We will have to try to follow the 6 commandments of Udayavar, which are learn Sri Bhashyam and teach it to others. If that is above your level, learn Thiruvaimozhi and make others read it. If that is beyond your level, build a hut in any holy land and live there by doing Kainkaryam in Archavadara Stalams. If that is impractical, do service in the temple at Tirunarayanapuram by staying there. If that is inconvenient, chant Dvayamantram. If that is also difficult, serve a devotee of Sriman Narayana. We thank every one of you for attending this celebration and watching the AV presentation. What we have attempted here is to present only pieces of information on life history of Swami Ramanujan. We would like to advocate you all to study in detail the life history of Swami Ramanuja to understand the greatness in him and why he is called Jagadacharyan. As the 1000th year of birth anniversary is around now, let us all celebrate this occasion and chant his Nama and surrender into his feet to get rid of our sufferings, as the adage says, Uyya Urevali Udayavar Tiruvadi. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.